Hello and welcome to a very special video, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the three invisible crowns that involve our personal life, our corporate life, and our political life in a way. And those are integrity, reputation, and goodwill. Integrity. A firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic value. An unimpaired condition, a soundness, you might say, the quality or state of being complete or undivided. Integrity is how we gain our first measure of any individual, corporation, or thing. When something acts against its own standards or its own good sense of being, we often find that to be disconcerting. It's why people will turn against something instinctively before they can even put their finger on why. It's watching a family member go completely against everything they stood for a momentary pleasure or some thing they're trying to hide. It is an innate thing in a way. It's also a way that we can judge if we can trust someone or not. If they have integrity, you know that you can trust them. If they don't have integrity, you know not to tell them things that they might use against you or tell other people. It's one of those things that we can see, especially in business, when we perceive a company as having a lack of integrity. You can see this with Disney. You can see it with Games Workshop. You can see it with Kotaku. None of them do we see often in a light of being a company that actually has something they stand on. Or at the very least, they stand on things that are counter to you, and that's the most important thing to them. It's a ridiculous element, but it's one that's very important to us as human beings. Now, it can have a moralistic element to it. It can be a matter of decency. It could just be that we like to see the company be honest about what they are, or even having a perception that they are above the petty squabblings and politics of the day and are simply trying to provide you something of worth, of soundness in a way. Reputation. Overall quality or character as seen or judged by people in general. Recognition by other people of some characteristic or ability. A place in public esteem or regard. Good name. Reputation. What people say about you. What people feel about you. The thing that you are most likely going to encounter upon first contact with a person or a thing or a place. We've all had this. You said, hey, I'm going to go to Portland. You don't know anything about Portland, and one person goes, Portland's got a bad reputation. You should probably be a little careful while you're there. Reputation is a thing that will build up. It has to do, in a way, with integrity, yes. But it is a thing that is a reaction and a thing that often is formed before people can even tell by your own behavior what something is or isn't. Now, you can have a bad reputation and have no warranted reason to have it. It could simply be rumor. But reputations often form around corporations for shoddy products, for poor customer service, for a blatant disregard for its workers, for a blatant disregard for a number of things. There are so many manners in which reputation is usually the first contact point, and one of the reasons why a company worth its salt would always work to make sure that the first thought or concept someone had before they had seen any of their own actions as a corporation or a person is to have a good reputation so people say nice things about you. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Well, that all depends on who you are. But we can look at someone like Alyssa Mercanti, who had only recently found out about. Her reputation's poor. But when you look into her, it's justified by her own actions and lack of integrity. She is a person who you would not trust with your dog's name or appointment, let alone with sensitive and personal information. That's not a value saying that there's necessarily a bad or a good person, just a matter of you have a bad reputation, and then when you look into the person more and you look at their integrity and you go, you have a really questionable integrity. It is a thing that we all have to labor under in one regard or another. And it's also why it's so important in so many cases. Goodwill. Now, I tie goodwill into this because it has a lot in common with reputation, but it is slightly different. A kindly feeling of approval or support, a benevolent interest or concern, a cheerful consent, a willing effort. Note the willing effort part. When you have someone's goodwill, they will actively speak out for you. So it is the active version of a reputation. And often what someone will, when someone goes, well, what about this person? If someone says, oh, they got a bad reputation, this person will go, no. This person actually is a good guy. You should trust him, kind of thing. Goodwill used to be that I've bought X product for all of these years. It has always been good. They always make sure that it's just a little bit under the other company's cost, that it's got a little bit extra in the box, and they've always made sure the box is good quality. Be it salt, be it flour, whatever it is. It's the feeling in which you take from something that you've been provided. Now, it can build up in many, many different ways. It can build up from just simply being around someone and seeing them go out and pick up the trash on the side of the road for no thanks or promotion of themselves. It can be simply from seeing someone's hard work. It can be seen from someone making somebody a meal when they're down on their luck and dropping it on the porch, ringing the doorbell, and leaving. A company can build this up by donating to charities, treating its workers in a really good way, providing excellent customer service, and of course, providing extremely good products at high quality for decent prices. In this regard, you can see when a corporation starts to take not only the steps before someone looks at their actions, not only the steps before people's passive reaction, which is reputation, and actively create a situation in which the goodwill turns to a bad reputation. Games Workshop has been so outrageously out of left field with their prices on things that they have slowly created ill will towards them, a bad reputation. They've discontinued a lot of models. They've bilked people for many, many years on things. Another good example is you have someone like Melissa Mercante. I'm going to keep trying to call her Mercante, so I'm sorry about that. Mercante, who constantly attacks people, who puts herself out as being a lady of ill repute in many ways, who does all of these things to not only attack people who she might not agree with or not even know anything majorly about her, and she does all of these negative things to create this negative feedback loop of attention for herself, because I assume she came from a unfortunate type of lifestyle where the only attention she got was negative. And it creates this ill will, which turns into a bad reputation, which means that when people actually do the work and they look into the integrity of these companies and these individuals, and they go, look at your actions. All of it was warranted. The reason these were referred to as the three invisible crowns, as I've labeled it, is because these were the things that you couldn't buy. You couldn't put a price tag on it. You could pay people off to say things, like there's a lot of influencers who do that, but it didn't mean that when people came in contact with the product, they kept those opinions. They actually felt more of a negative backlash. You need these things in life, because if people feel ill towards you, if they think of you in a bad light, and they see your actions and go, this person, everything that they are doing justifies these things, you will have a life that is simply a negative one that is going to be unsuccessful. And for example, Miss Mercanti, I would refer to her as a vampire who feeds on vampires, and her stock is starting to get very, very low. She's going to continue to move from one dying corporation to another, who all think that she has a large social media following, therefore she'll get more clicks or buys or whatever they think. And in the reality, it's a bunch of people, more than likely, who have nothing but ill will towards her, who don't think she has a good reputation, and see her actions and don't consider her to have good integrity, who want to see her fail, as you will see with many corporations, as you see with people when they come to hate corporations, individuals, places, and they gleefully wait for those things to fall apart, which is unfortunate and unhealthy. So thank you for laboring with me in this, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.